Welcome back to the channel. Today, a full build breakdown on Mike's 65 Corvette, a car we built about 7 years ago under Street Rods by Denny. Lots of custom details, so let's get into it. This was one of the cars that kind of, I had been working for Denny for a couple years and just starting to get into it, so it brings back a lot of memories, honestly. It's so great to see this thing after 7 years of being completed, how well it's holding up and how good it still looks. So kind of the basics on this thing. Platform is a Art Morrison chassis. It's independent front and rear suspension, rack and pinion. This was actually one of the first independent rear suspension chassis that they put out. Denny was friends with the owner Art, and they'd kind of conspired with Mike to get this chassis under this car and be one of the first ones. Power plant is an LS7 put through a T56 Magnum 6-speed transmission. The rear end is it's basically like a Dana 60. I believe it's modeled after a Camaro IRS. It's just incredible how well this thing puts the power to the ground. And I remember 7 years ago driving this car a little bit right after we completed it with very limited experience of driving cars, especially of this caliber, and being impressed, and just as impressed as I am now today. So this has got to be one of the best driving cars that we have ever put together. I think the weight of it, the wheelbase, the power, the manual, the ride height, everything about it just puts the power to the ground and takes a corner really good. The shocks are set up, shocks and springs are set up to be pretty stiff because Mike had actually autocrossed this car. Very little, just more or less at like Good Guys events and stuff, but he's had a lot of fun with it. He's a very experienced driver, has a cup car and a bunch of other stuff, so it's pretty cool to get feedback from him about driving this car and how much he liked it as well. This front bumper is totally custom, so it's been tucked into the body. We also cut off, there's another section of the bumper that goes and wraps around and a bar that ties them together. We eliminated all of that and then actually took 2 sets of bumpers to make this one single bumper. Mike had seen this design on a Corvette in a vintage hot rod magazine or something like that, and he had really liked the look. So I basically cut like this whole corner off of a different bumper and grafted it on to this section of this one so that it kind of caps it off and creates like a full split bumper look. With that, we also built a chin spoiler. This is a hand-built vent. It's got this is sheet metal, and then there's some little machine pieces of flat bar basically that fit together and are tacked in, and this is functional. There's a scoop that kicks air. It's kind of like a cold air intake basically. It kicks air up into the air filter. And something interesting about this, I remember we were having a hard time with intake air temp. It just drops basically down in front of the engine to grab air from down low, but it was getting contaminated too much with hot air coming off the radiator, so intake air temps were not working out when you were cruising. Adding this vent just threw a little bit of cool air in it, and it brought the intake air temps down to a happy spot and really solved the problem. So it was a fun little project, kind of like something after the car is done. There's just the dial-in period where you work through all these little things and make sure they all work together. The fiberglass on the front end of this car is relatively unmodified. This was a pretty clean body when we started. The underhood has got extensive cleanup has been done, lots of fabrication work. Mike had basically kind of come up with this idea. The inner fenders are actually a door skin. So this section of the door skin is what we use to create these inner fenders. So those are all fiberglass, and they were, that's the basic shape, and then they were modified at the ends to fit. The front extensions, these are aluminum to finish it out into the core support. And that just gives it that super clean look that we like to see. There's a battery underneath on that side. There's some hoses underneath on this side. All that kind of stuff gets hidden and tucked away to where you just have the engine exposed. It's a relatively stock LS7. It's got this different intake on it. Of course, we have different valve covers that relocated the coils down on the toe boards. We changed the hood prop, and also this was the first car that I did this style of hood latch on, which we've done since on several other cars. The original car had big latches in each corner, and they're kind of cumbersome. They can be. When you drop the hood down, there's often times where you have to pop this side down and then pop that side down, and it doesn't work as well as a single center latch. So I added these poppers, one on each side. This is the stopper to maintain the level of the hood, and then a single bear claw latch in the middle. And it works it works really well. You can just set the hood down, pop it into place, and latch it down. Really pleased with how that came together. On the side of the hood, it's also got a matching vent that you see on the front. So same procedure. This is hand-shaped sheet metal and then some machine parts that all fit together. Denny and Mike had kind of come up with this idea to, they didn't want to do a side pipe and they didn't want to do rocker covers, so they came up with this shape basically for the rockers that kind of kicks, it comes down off the body and then kicks down and under and rounds out, and it just finishes it out good. It covers the frame but just kind of goes away. We just put these, well, this is one of the things we're doing right now. We just put these 356 mirrors on. We had a different set of mirrors on it, but Mike didn't like, it wasn't good enough for visibility. It wasn't reliable adjustment. So he found these mirrors and we fit them on. And we also put a set of our pull style door handles on. So these actually, it had a set of aftermarket door handles on it already, but fortunately these ones did still just bolt right on. So it covered up the existing opening and was a really easy install. We've got Rushforth wheels, big Willwood disc brakes, color match to the accent color, which is like a blue metallic that you'll see on the interior. The rear bumpers were also moved in closer to the body, a little rear spoiler made, stock style exhaust tips, kind of like just the styling where they stick out past or flush with the bumper. If you didn't know, these vents were actually functioning like fresh air vents originally. So they had like a vent inside that you could open and close to allow air to draft out of the car. I assume like you would open your wing window and then you could open these and it would pull that air out. I don't know. I just remember plugging all of that basically and filling it, plugging the holes because it had a drain hole in it, or leaving the drain hole but plugging the vent hole. I don't remember, but maybe you know more about it. The car's got wheel tubs in the back, a completely custom rear floor, very similar treatment to Dave's 66 Corvette that we're building right now, which is essentially the same platform that this sits on. The interior on this car is really stunning, done by McFarland Upholstery. The blue, like me and Tyler were talking about on our way here, it's not super common, so it's kind of a cool thing to see. It looks good against the white. With the white stitching, it all ties in good and just stands out a little bit. I really like the way that Doug painted this blue in the jambs, so it's almost like the interior is kind of spilling out. And this is a sill plate that Mike found. This is more of like a modern, it's just literally a decal sticker, but it looks really good on there. I mean, it just worked out well. Relatively stock gauge cluster, vintage air controls. It's got a more modern style vent in it, a touchscreen stereo, backup camera, push button emergency brake, parking brake. I don't remember what these seats are out of. I know they're a Porsche seat. They are super comfortable, honestly, and having those side bolsters and stuff really just pins you in this car and makes it feel really good. One of my favorite things about the upholstery in this car is the rear luggage that Jamie had built for it. These are fully removable. It just kind of plays off of the touring style car, but it is built specifically for this thing with the leather straps. It looks really good in here. The whole headliner, I mean, everything's wrapped in leather. If you leave the doors closed and windows up for a little while, you're definitely treated by a leather scent when you open it up, which everybody likes that. Good ergonomics with the way the console's laid out. It feels good in your hand, and the shifter location armrest on the door panel. And we did everything we could to push this seat back because that is always an issue in these cars. Not enough leg room. So me just being 6 foot, it feels really good in there. I really think this car just, it sits really good. It's not too low. It feels very proper for the type of car and how it's used, if that makes any sense. Thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, like it. If you have a question, ask it. And check out sandersstreetrods.com for all of our products, including our pull style door handles. Thanks again.